that said if 6 members had to abstain, 1 member would constitute a majority, and it would take only 1 vote for it to pass. So unfortunately, these have come up at, from time to time, where there is not a full body, ourselves included.
Thank you, Chairman. Through the chair,
Yes.
should we be continuing the meeting if we don't have audio?
It's working on the website, just so you know. And we're good?
So it is working? Thank you.
And for future reference, that would not having audio would not prevent us. We can't control what Comcast does or does not do, or WOW.
Okay.
Certainly, people, when there are multiple forums, including being online, that people can watch our proceedings, but that is not a legal obligation. It certainly want that to
Okay.
be there 100% of the time, but certainly can't control what the internet or what cable services do.
Understood.
Mr. Chairman, that's exactly what Carl is saying. It's more than likely a Comcast issue because we have it online, and so go to the website and watch it if you have Comcast.
All right.
Through the chair, if I may, just to answer that question about the quorum on the commission. It depends from what was read. It depends on the number of people that have been appointed. So if 7 have been appointed, then it would take 4 to be a majority. If only 5 are appointed, it would take 3 to be a majority. So it depends on who is appointed, how many appointments have been filled on the commission.
Any further discussion on item 6.2? If not, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no.
No.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Brandana? Yes. Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Rose?
No.
Ms. Daniels?
No.
Ms. Winton?
Yes.
Mr. Geis?
Yes. Motion passes 4-2. Mr. Mayor.
Item 6.3 is a motion to approve the reappointment of Diana Chavez to the Local Officers and Pensions and Fringe Benefits Compensation Commission for a 7-year term to expire on December 5th, 2030.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion by Councilwoman Brandana, supported by Councilwoman Witten. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no.
No.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Brandana? Yes. Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Rose?
No.
Ms. Daniels?
No.
Ms. Winton?
Yes.
Mr. Geis?
Yes. Motion passes 4-2. Mr. Mayor.
Item 6.4 is a motion to approve the reappointment of Timothy Keys to the Local Officers and Pension and Fringe Benefits Compensation Commission for a 7-year term to expire on December 5th, 2030.
Motion?
Support.
Motion by Councilwoman Witten, supported by Councilman Johnson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no.
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 Roll call, please.
Ms. Brandana? No. Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Rose?
No.
Ms. Daniels?
No.
Ms. Winton?
Yes.
Mr. Geis?
Yes. Motion fails 3-3. Items, Mr. Mayor.
Item 6.5 is a motion to approve the reappointment of Thomas Nestor to the Local Officers Pension and Fringe Benefits Compensation Commission for a 7-year term to expire on December 5th, 2030.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion by Councilwoman Brandana, supported by Councilman Johnson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no.
No.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Brandana? Yes. Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Rose?
No.
Ms. Daniels?
No.
Ms. Winton?
Yes.
Mr. Geis?
Yes. Motion passes 4-2. Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
All right, that brings us to the regular agenda. Item 7.1 is a motion to approve opening the public hearing for the Cypress Gardens Brownfield redevelopment plan.
Motion?
Support.
Motion by Councilwoman Witten, supported by Councilman Johnson. Is there any discussion on opening the public hearing? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. The yeses have it, motion carried. The public hearing is now open. Are there any interested parties for the discussion on the Cypress Gardens Brownfield redevelopment plan. Mr. Silver, and then
Yeah, through the chair, I mean, we had a public hearing at the last meeting, I believe, and so if there are any further questions, then I'd be glad to entertain them rather than making the same presentation today. The developer is present for today's public hearing, though.
I do have a question for you. It was stated that there was a time bound within the contract. I did not see within the Brownfield redevelopment plan. And I would like to know, I just wrote this up, so pardon me. So I'm not asking your opinion, I'm telling you what mine is. I would like a clause in here, if at the end of 5 years from the signing of this agreement, there remain any lots that have not been developed, MJC Land Investments must complete the sidewalks on the undeveloped lots at their expense.
We're here to talk about the Brownfield plan, and the plan is really is only to capture, the only meaning of the plan is to permit the capture of increments for the project. That would be something that should be in the reimbursement agreement or some other document with the developer. But the plan is a statutory plan that basically has 13 points to it and permits the capture if the plan is approved.
Mr. Chairman, we added that in there, but they asked for revision today, and we didn't want to bring that forward, so we're going to bring that to the next meeting because we didn't want to spring that on you guys today. So we're going to bring that to the next meeting with the revision, but we will definitely put it in there.
It'll be in the it'll be in the signed agreement before we sign?
Correct.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. And I appreciate that, Mr.
Because
Mayor.
I did bring up that, you brought that up at the last meeting, I had to bring that up. So you're saying 5 years upon completion of the homes.
There needs to be a shot clock.
Okay, we'll talk.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
after the
that
meeting,
we've,
we'll have-
unfortunately, we've had too many developments that it becomes economically, when you get down to the last few, we've had developers close their LLC, this one included, and then move on to, the argument always has been, you don't want to put the sidewalks in because then when the lot is developed, those sidewalks are damaged. At the same time, for 20 years in my neighborhood, kids are walking in the streets and it becomes dangerous. So certainly in whichever, we're being asked by this entity for some dollars. In whichever way we can put restrictions or time frames within the completion of our neighborhoods. Instead of moving on to the next one and getting 90% of the way there, moving on to the next one, so on and so forth.
Chairman,
Councilwoman.
were there other items at the last meeting that you had mentioned that you wanted in, or was that the only thing?
That was the only thing. One caution I had to the council is there are always these LLCs that are created for each new development without, that basically holds harmless the parent company. And so, in this case, we've worked over the past 20 some odd years with MFC as one of the developers, but when I see a pattern, I'm going to call out the pattern. And in this case, right, whenever we do brownfields, it's an LLC, and we've had issues with other developments that received brownfield, and the company that ultimately finished that, Island Lakes right now looks fantastic, but it again has been 20 years in the making.
Chairman,
Councilwoman.
that's what I was thinking was, is there clauses in there that say that, like, what if, things go upside down again and they don't finish them? Are we gonna have another Island Lake situation again? Is there anything we can do to avoid that?
Through the chair, yes, certainly we can. We do not bond on the front end. We only reimburse them after they've paid, and they get reimbursed when the taxes get paid. The mistake at Island Lakes was that the city put a bond in place prior to any sticks or bricks going into the ground, and then the sticks and the bricks didn't go into the ground, and we had already gone out to bond. In these cases, like the one before us today, this is purely reimbursing. You pay for it now, you get reimbursed out of tax dollars that are generated from the project. And then we do put guardrails typically in them, and one of the guardrails, I'd have to work through it with the timeframes, because if it's really only a 5-year plan and he's paid back in 5 years based upon the tax increments, and the sidewalks aren't done, they've already received the reimbursements. I'm trying to think what the remedy would be. If the city if it's a public infrastructure, do they post completion bonds that would bond out, that would require, that they could draw on if the project wasn't completed?